The music was loud. Not nightclub loud, but just enough to cover secrets in a house that used to be mine too. I hadn't been invited to the party. It was girls only, as she put it. Just me and the ladies, babe. Wine, movies, gossip. Boring stuff, trust me. But I forgot my watch. The one my father gave me before he died. I couldn't sleep without it, and it was sitting on the nightstand like always. So I parked down the street, used the side entrance, and quietly stepped into my own house like a stranger. That's when I heard it. That laugh. That shriek of cruel honesty, drenched in wine and venom. It was her voice. Tiffany's. My wife. He's too stupid to realize I've been cheating for years. The room exploded with laughter. Her friends howled like hyenas, especially her best friend Crystal, the one who always smiled too wide when I was around. I froze behind the hallway wall. My heart wasn't pounding, it was breaking, slowly, deliberately, with every syllable. He actually thinks I'm tired after work. I told him I'm going to yoga, and you know what I was really doing. She slurred, giggling, her voice practically drunk on cruelty. Getting my brain scrambled in a hotel off Route 6 by a guy who doesn't ask me to make dinner first. Another roar of laughter. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just stared at the wallpaper, that stupid floral pattern she insisted on. It was like time stopped. Every sound stabbed. Someone asked, what if he finds out? Tiffany's answer? If he hasn't figured it out by now, then he deserves it. He's weak. Always has been. And that was it. That one sentence carved a scar across my soul. I stepped back, left my watch on the nightstand, and walked out without a word. I didn't slam the door. I didn't confront her. I didn't want to give her the pleasure. Instead, I packed a bag at my buddy Jason's place and vanished from her radar. 2 days later, she showed up at my door. Mascara smudged. Hair a mess. Dressed like she had just crawled out of a war zone. And crying like she'd just lost the love of her life. Ryan, I made a mistake, she whispered. Can we talk? I didn't speak. I just stepped aside and let her in. She thought I was going to forgive her. She thought tears and fake regret would fix this. She sat on the couch where we used to cuddle. Put her hand on mine. I was drunk. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean any of it. I walked into the bedroom and came back with a box. She blinked through her tears. What's this? I placed it in front of her. Open it. Inside were printed transcripts. Screenshots. Dates. Hotel receipts. Her texts. The ones she deleted from her phone but forgot they synced to the cloud. And at the very top was a photo. Her. On a hotel bed. Smiling. Wearing nothing but a necklace I bought her for our anniversary. Wrapped around her neck in someone else's hands. She gasped. Like she had been shot. Tiff, I said, calmly. You weren't drunk when you cheated. You were drunk when you confessed. And now, I'm sober enough for the both of us. She stared at me. Words caught in her throat. But I wasn't finished. You laughed, I said. With them. At me. You told the truth when you thought I wasn't listening. And now you're crying because you realized I was. She reached out. I stood up. Tiff, you already made your choice. Now it's time to live with it. I walked to the door and opened it wide. She didn't move. Her face twisted into something bitter. Ryan, you're seriously ending this over one night? I looked her in the eyes. No. I'm ending this because it wasn't just one night. It was years. You said so yourself. Her mouth fell open, but no more lies came out. That was the moment the switch flipped. The grief started to turn into something colder, sharper. She stormed out with a scream. I closed the door behind her and locked it like sealing a tomb. She thought I was too stupid to figure it out. But now, she'll learn exactly how smart I can be. I didn't sleep that night. Not because of regret. No, regret was something Tiffany could choke on. I stayed up because the silence was finally honest. No fake smiles. No, babe, I'm just tired. Just me and the truth. And the truth? It was uglier than I ever imagined. At 3 a.m., I sat on the edge of the bed with her phone in my hand. She left it behind in the chaos. Maybe by mistake. Maybe some part of her wanted me to see everything. I unlocked it. Same password she's had since we met. My birthday. The irony burned. The messages were endless. Text threads with names I didn't recognize. Travis Jim, Chris Nails, Benny Starbucks. Creative. But not creative enough. One thread stood out, a guy saved as delivery. The first message I opened made my stomach turn. Can't stop thinking about your lips on me last night. Her reply? Same. Ryan thinks I'm at Target, LOL. Idiot. I threw the phone against the wall. Not out of rage, out of something deeper. Disgust. Self-hate. That pit in my stomach that told me I'd been living with a stranger, loving a stranger, sharing a bed with a woman who smiled at me by day and bent over for someone else by night. And I missed it all. She had a system, code words, calendar events like spin class that meant 2-hour motel sessions with men who probably didn't even know she was married. Some didn't even care. One thread chilled me more than the rest. A guy named Damon M. No fake name this time. He's never going to know, right? I don't want drama. Tiffany replied. Even if he finds out, he's not the type. He won't fight back. He's too soft. Too soft. That was the moment something snapped in me. Not anger, not yet. But clarity. A version of me died reading that message. The one who made her coffee every morning. Who left notes in her lunch. Who defended her when my mom said she was too flirty. He died. And someone else took his place. The next morning, I returned her phone. Left it in a box outside her job with a sticky note. I read it all. No need to explain. She called me 8 times. I didn't answer. By nightfall, my doorbell rang again. This time she wasn't crying. She was pissed. You had no right to go through my stuff, she shouted the moment I opened the door. I stared at her. You left it. Doesn't matter. You violated my privacy. I laughed. Actually laughed. You violated our marriage. Want to talk about violations? She tried to push her way inside. I blocked her. You're acting insane, she hissed. You're gonna throw away everything over a few mistakes? Don't you dare call them mistakes. You planned this. Scheduled it. Hid it. Repeated it. Oh, please, she scoffed, folding her arms. It wasn't even good half the time. Sometimes I just needed to feel something. You think that makes me evil? No, Tiffany. The lying makes you evil. The laughing makes you a monster. Her face twisted. Fine. You want honesty? You bored me. You got too comfortable. You stopped trying. So I found someone else who made me feel alive. Big deal. I didn't flinch. Then go feel alive somewhere else. She raised her voice again. You think you're going to come out of this clean? You think everyone's going to believe you? I'll tell them you were distant. That you pushed me away. That you're emotionally unstable. Do that, I said, calm as stone. But remember this. I've got all the messages. The photos. The receipts. So if you want to play the victim in public, make sure you're ready for me to go public, too. She stared at me, eyes full of fire. For a moment, I thought she might hit me. Instead, she backed off. This isn't over, she growled. You'll regret humiliating me. I tilted my head. No. You humiliated yourself. I just finally paid attention. Then I closed the door. And this time, she didn't come back. But I knew she wasn't done. Someone like Tiffany? She doesn't just disappear. She strikes. The next few days felt like a fever dream. The silence was different now, sharp, loaded, like it knew things I didn't. Every hour felt stretched, like time itself wanted me to replay every mistake I made by trusting her. I wasn't just hurting. I was unraveling. People started reaching out. Not friends. Most of them had chosen sides already, and I knew damn well which side they were on. But Jason, my best friend since 6th grade, came through. He showed up with a bottle of bourbon and no words. Just sat beside me in my living room and let me breathe. You don't look shocked, I told him after a while. He stared into his glass. I'm not. That stung. What does that mean? He sighed, leaned back. It means I've seen things, man. Things I didn't want to see. But I didn't want to be the guy to ruin your marriage. I figured maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was nothing. What things? Jason hesitated, then pulled out his phone and scrolled. After a few swipes, he turned it toward me. A blurry photo. Tiffany. Sitting in some bar. A man's hand on her thigh. Her smile too wide, too familiar. Date stamped 6 months ago. I took this because I couldn't believe it. I followed her out of pure instinct. She told you she was at a conference. But she was with him. I think his name was Damon. I didn't say anything. My hands were clenched so tight I thought my bones might snap. Jason continued, softer now. I thought you'd already caught on. You always seemed so distant when we talked. Because I had been. I blamed work stress. Bills. My own damn mood swings. All the while, the woman I loved was juggling me and a rotation of other guys like it was a goddamn game show. That night, I went digging. Not out of curiosity anymore, but because I needed to know the full extent of what I was up against. I contacted one of the names from her messages, Chris. Just a first name, nothing more. But social media made it easy. His profile was public. Stupid. I sent a message. You don't know me. But I'm Tiffany's husband. He replied instantly. Oh, F-star. Dude, I didn't know she was married. She said she was separated. Classic. A lie on top of another lie. How long were you seeing her? I asked. Few months. Maybe 4. She ghosted me last week. I figured she found someone else. I didn't even get angry. I just thanked him for his honesty. He replied one last time. I'm sorry, man. She's wild. I should have known. Wild. I stared at the word for a long time. Tiffany was more than wild. She was calculated. Reckless. Empty in ways I hadn't even seen until she opened her mouth at night and laughed at the man she promised to love. The next morning, I got served. Divorce papers. No warning. No text. No conversation. She beat me to it. Inside was a letter from her lawyer claiming emotional cruelty. That I abandoned her. That I was hostile and refused communication. She wanted the house. Half my savings. The dog. The F*****ing dog. I showed the papers to Jason. He nearly choked on his coffee. She's going nuclear, he said. No, I replied. She thinks this is checkmate. But she forgot, I play a different game. That evening, I met with a lawyer. Laid everything out, screenshots, photos, voice memos, timestamps. He listened, eyes wide, then smiled. She screwed herself, he said. Literally. It wasn't just infidelity. It was calculated deception. It was cruelty. It was humiliation. We filed a countersuit. And I started preparing. Because this wasn't just a divorce anymore. It was war. The court date was set 2 weeks later, but the real show started long before that. Tiffany's mask slipped faster than I expected. She wasn't even trying to pretend anymore. Social media exploded with photos of her, out at clubs, wrapped around new men, grinning like the world was hers to break. And maybe it was, for a while. That's the thing about people like her. They crash hard, but not before lighting everything around them on fire. I didn't comment. I didn't post. I didn't stoop. But I watched. Then, the messages started. First from mutual friends, the fence sitters. Hey man, maybe this is all just a misunderstanding? She's going through a lot, Ryan. You should talk to her before court. Maybe you were distant, you know? Not to take sides, but... Every single message felt like a knife in the back. And then, she messaged me. Not a call. A text. I miss you. I made mistakes. Can we just talk one more time before this all gets worse? It was the first time she didn't sound smug. That scared me more than her anger. I met her at the cafe near the courthouse, public place, cameras, people. I wasn't taking chances. She looked different, less polished. Her makeup was heavier, but her eyes? Bloodshot, restless, like the lies were eating her alive from the inside. She sat down and didn't say a word for 30 seconds. Then, I was scared. That's what she opened with. I waited. I didn't cheat on you because I didn't love you. I cheated because I didn't think you loved me anymore. I didn't blink. You cheated because you wanted to. And you kept doing it because you thought I'd never find out. She bit her lip. I don't even know who I am anymore. I leaned in. You're the woman who laughed about her husband being too stupid to catch on. That's who you are. She looked away. Her lip trembled. I could feel part of myself, the old version, wanting to comfort her. Old instincts. Old love. But then I remembered that voice, that laugh, and it killed every trace of softness in me. You showed everyone who you are, Tiffany. Now you're upset because I believed you. Her voice cracked. Ryan, I still love you. No. You loved what I gave you. Stability. Loyalty. A name to hide behind while you played games behind motel doors. I made mistakes. Mistakes don't last years. She didn't reply. The waitress came over. I paid for both drinks without touching mine. As I stood up, she grabbed my wrist. Please, if not for us, then for what we were. I looked down at her hand. Her nails were freshly done, blood red. Just like the night I overheard her laughter and everything crumbled. There's no us, Tiff. What we were. You killed that the first time you came home and kissed me with someone else's scent still on you. Her face twisted in pain. But I didn't stay to watch the performance. I left her there, in that booth, crying into her coffee. She texted me later that night. I don't want to fight you in court. Let's settle. But it was too late for that. She had declared war, and I came prepared. The day of a hearing, it rained. Fitting, I thought. The whole city looked like it had been dipped in regret. I showed up in a dark suit. No tie. Calm on the surface, but my chest felt like a fist was squeezing around my heart. My lawyer, Derek, gave me a nod as I entered. You ready? He asked. Been ready, I said, and I meant it. Tiffany walked in 5 minutes late, always on her own time, wearing white, of all things. Probably trying to sell some image of innocence. Her lawyer was some hotshot from downtown. Martinez, slick, polished, arrogant. The kind of guy who looked like he'd sell his own mother for a better car lease. She didn't look at me at first. When she finally did, it was with a look that used to mean, I need you. Now it looked more like, don't destroy me. But the truth? I wasn't here for revenge. I was here for freedom. The judge was a sharp woman named Harlan. She didn't play around. As the hearing started, Martinez went first, spinning a tale of emotional abandonment, loneliness, how I supposedly refused intimacy and created a hostile home environment. It was almost impressive how well he danced around the truth. Then it was Derek's turn. He laid it all out like a surgeon opening a chest cavity. The texts, the hotel bills, the laughing voicemail she didn't know I had recorded, the conversation with delivery guy, the screenshots from her cloud account, and the kicker? The printed transcript of that night when she said, he's too stupid to realize I've been cheating for years. The courtroom was dead silent. Tiffany didn't even try to look shocked. She just looked small, shrinking into her chair, like the walls were closing in, and she finally realized this wasn't a nightmare. This was her life unraveling. At one point, Judge Harlan looked directly at her. Is there anything you'd like to say in response to this evidence? Tiffany cleared her throat. I was in a bad place mentally. I didn't feel seen. I made some bad decisions, but I didn't mean to hurt him. Didn't mean to hurt me? I stared at her across the room, and for a split second, I felt something almost like sadness. Not for her, but for myself. For the version of me that used to believe in her. The guy who built a life around a lie and didn't see it until it collapsed on his head. The judge excused both parties after a few hours, saying she would make her ruling in the next week. Tiffany tried to catch my eye as I walked past. I didn't give her the satisfaction. That night, I went home to an empty apartment. Just me, my suitcase, and the echo of my own breathing. But something was different. It wasn't sadness anymore. It was peace. Cold, clean peace. I poured myself a drink. No toast. Just a long sip. Then I pulled out my phone and deleted every photo of us. Wedding, vacations, Sunday mornings. Gone. Just data now. The next day, she showed up at my door again. I didn't answer. She knocked longer this time, then slid a note under the door. Please. Just talk to me. I'm not okay. I still love you. I crumpled it without reading the rest. She wasn't okay? Neither was I, the night I heard her mocking me like a clown at a circus. The night she handed pieces of my soul to strangers in exchange for a few hours of sweaty escapism. Now she wanted comfort? She could find it somewhere else. Me? I was done being the fool in her story. 3 days later, I got the call. Judge Harlan's ruling was final. I got the house. I kept my savings. She walked away with nothing but her car and whatever dignity she had left, which, judging by the silence after that courtroom bombshell, wasn't much. Derek called it a win. It's rare to see a judge rule this decisively, he said, almost impressed. You gave her enough rope, and she hanged herself. Quietly. Elegantly. I wasn't interested in elegance. I just wanted it to be over. But Tiffany wasn't done. She showed up again, this time outside my work. Standing by the entrance like she was waiting for a cab, sunglasses on, hair perfect, pretending not to look at me as I came out. I walked right past her. She followed. Ryan, please. I know you hate me. I know I messed up. I stopped. Slowly turned. Looked her in the eye. You didn't mess up, Tiffany. You chose this. Again and again and again. Her face cracked a little. She dropped the act. I lost everything. Yeah, I said, so did I. The difference is, I didn't throw it away. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. Don't ever show up here again. Not at work. Not at home. Not anywhere. Her voice dropped to a whisper. So that's it. Just like that. Just like that. I left her there on the sidewalk, arms limp at her sides, looking like she finally understood what consequences felt like. I thought that would be the last time. I wanted it to be the last time. But people like Tiffany don't go quietly. 2 weeks later, I got tagged in a photo by some idiot mutual friend. It was her, in Miami, with a guy who looked 25, maybe younger, shirtless, covered in tattoos. Her caption? Starting fresh. Love always wins red heart. It made me laugh. Love? That word meant nothing to her. It was just another thing she used like lip gloss, put it on when needed, wipe it off when inconvenient. But that post? It was for me. I could feel it. A middle finger disguised as a happy ending. I didn't reply. Didn't comment. Didn't message. I did call my realtor and listed the house. Too many ghosts in those walls. I didn't want to sleep where I once laid next to a lie. By the end of the month, I'd moved into a smaller place across town. No memories. No scent of her perfume on the drapes. Just space. Space to breathe. To rebuild. I started running again. Reading. Lifting. Taking care of the man she said was too soft. The same man who stood up in court and watched her burn every bridge she thought she'd never have to cross again. She tried texting once more. No words. Just a photo of us, 3 years ago, holding hands on a cliff in Arizona. Her favorite memory. I stared at it for 10 seconds. Then deleted it. The next day, she blocked me. Or maybe I blocked her. I didn't check. Didn't matter. She was gone. Really gone. And I was still standing. It's strange how quiet peace can be. Not the kind of peace that comes from forgiveness. No, I'll never forgive her. But the kind that grows when there's finally nothing left to lose. No more lies. No more second-guessing. Just the truth, and the clean silence that follows. Months passed. Fall came. The air changed. And with it, so did I. There were nights I'd still wake up and expect to hear her in the kitchen, humming some off-key pop song, pretending she didn't just come home late with a tangled story. But those moments faded faster now. They didn't cut as deep. Just scars itching as they healed. I ran into Crystal one afternoon at a gas station of all places. Her eyes went wide when she saw me, like I was a ghost she hoped to never face. She tried small talk. I didn't respond. Then she said, "She's not doing well, Ryan. Thought you'd want to know." I didn't, but I nodded politely and walked away. I'm not cruel. I'm just done. You know what the worst part was? It wasn't the betrayal itself. It wasn't the motel receipts or the humiliating laughter or the way she looked at me like I was disposable. It was realizing that the person I trusted with my whole heart saw that heart as weak. Saw love as leverage. A tool. Something to use until it didn't give her what she wanted anymore. That changes a man. I'm not bitter. I'm sharper now. Smarter. A little colder, maybe. But I smile more. Real smiles. The kind that don't hide bruises under the skin. And if you're a man reading this, wondering if your gut is right, listen to it. The long nights. The turned phone screens. The sudden fights about nothing. The fake apologies. The rehearsed tiredness. Those aren't just coincidences. She was never going to tell me. Not unless I caught her. And even then, she would have lied with a straight face. Don't wait for the laugh behind the door to confirm what you already feel in your bones. Don't become the last to know in your own story. And don't waste time loving someone who wouldn't even flinch while throwing you away. I'm not the man I was before her. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I needed to break to learn how to rebuild. And now? Now I live alone. Peacefully. Free.